Cup, the Can-Am. We'll also see highlights from the hotly contested Easy Wider Formula Atlantic Series.
This is Summit Point, West Virginia, and round number 2 of the Canadian-American Challenge Cup. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Paul Chater, along with Jim Paulson. And the cars are lined up behind us here for the start of heat number 1. And the operative word today is heat. The track temperature is over 150 degrees Fahrenheit, and the temperature here is 110. The race we're going to watch today will be a good one between pole sitter Horst Kroll in car number 37, who sits alongside Bill Tempero, and car number 5, Dr. Lucelle, who will be starting from the back of the grid. Jim?
Okay, Paul, the cars are moving out in their pace lap for the first of 2 35-lap heats. We've got Horst Kroll and Bill Tempero on the front row. Now let's look at the rest of the grid here.
Randy Zimmer will start from the second row with his number 14 2-liter Rondell Mazda.
David Locke has qualified another 2-liter car up front. He drives a Harholdt engine Chicali.
48-year-old Mauro Lanaro was third in the season opener at Mosport. He'll start from the third row alongside David Locke.
Other contenders to watch out for include John Macaluso, fourth at Mosport. He only qualified 10th here. Should move up though, Paul.
Dennis Arias, another possible sleeper at the back of this grid. His 5-liter Williams Chevy should be a rocket, but teething problems have put him back in 14th spot.
The cars continue on their pace lap around this winding 2-mile course. The more powerful 5-liter cars like these long straightaways, but you know, the nimble 2-liter machines seem quicker through the slow hairpin turns. So, Paul, we've got fast cars at the front and some fast cars starting at the back. Should make for a wild race when we return to Summit Point. We're back at Summit Point Raceway in West Virginia for round 2 of the 1986 Can-Am. I'm Jim Paulson with Paul Chater. Paul, the pace cars pulled off the track. We are ready for a start here.
Kroll and Tempero on the first row. We have to watch for Dr. Lucelle right at the back in car number 5. He's fast and he should be able to charge through the field. There's the green flag and they roar down the front straightaway.
Well, Kroll grabs it off the top, and you're right, Paul. Dr. Lucelle already moving his way up through the field from the back.
Into the first hairpin, Kroll, Tempero, and Horst getting it a little twitchy, under braking, heavy braking going into that corner. He manages to hold off Bill Tempero in second place. Randy Zimmer, number 14, in third. We've got a car already into trouble on the outside, and that's Bob Dupre, the white car, off into the dirt.
And, of course, David Locke, yellow, number 12, he was off the road there as well. So a couple of our competitors off very early. They've got to get used to this track, I guess, Paul.
There's Tempero already looking for some room up the inside to get past Horst Kroll, but he just hasn't got the speed. The 2 leaders pulling away. John Gunn now up into third spot.
Horst Kroll now leading the field down through the carousel here in West Virginia, and we'll see a lot of this part of the track as the day goes on, Paul, but Horst still maintains the lead. I'm amazed at how well Tempero is doing this early in the event.
It's a good 2-car dice for first place, Jim. Kroll out in front, Tempero in second. John Gunn trying to make it a 3-car race as he moved around Randy Zimmer to take over third spot.
Now they're coming through under the bridge. They'll come around Paddock Bend and onto what we have a 3,000-foot front straight here to complete our 2-mile lap. The average speeds in qualifying, Paul, we're running a little over 100 miles an hour. We'll see if they can do that in the race itself.
And a downhill run into the hairpin at the end of the start-finish straight. Kroll, Tempero, Gunn. There's Bruce Langson now into fourth spot. He's got by Randy Zimmer's smaller 2-liter car. Through the first turn, Kroll, no problem at all. He was kicking up a little dust that was left there from the first lap and getting very twitchy. And there's Bruce Langson, number 70. He's right off the road.
Look at that. He is right backwards. He's going to try to refire it. Yes, he will once again join the field, try to get back into the battle. He's got quite a few of the back markers now ahead of him, Paul, but that'll be kind of fun for him to fight his way back through the pack here.
And the 2 leaders pulling away steadily. Kroll in first place, Tempero second, John Gunn in third, and he seems to be gaining. These 2 actually slowing themselves down by fighting it out for the lead. You can see how much ground Gunn has made up so far.
Okay, we're watching the leaders. They're fine. There's Dr. Lucelle. We've got to pick up him in the blue, yellow number 5. He's moved up from last on the grid to 7th here, lining up John Macaluso as his next victim, I guess, Paul.
Zell doesn't seem to be running as fast as we first thought, Jim. He should have been up with the leaders by now. Now, watch Kroll. He's pulling away from Tempero down the front straightaway. This is the largest gap we've seen all day.
Closest we've ever seen Tempero hanging on to Mr. Kroll. Now you get the feeling that, yes, Horst is stepping down on that gasoline a little bit. And
in fact,
dropping back.
John Gunn is picking up ground on Tempero, so we may have a problem there with Tempero's car, number 15. There's Gunn in third spot.
And look at Dr. Lucelle coming on. Exciting to watch him as he makes another pass, diving into corner 1.
He's past Macaluso, and he's set his sights now on Randy Zimmer in car number 14, who is just in front of him.
Randy very swift in this little 2-liter car, and surely Dr. Lou won't have too much trouble catching up to him. We'll just see how long it takes him, of course, Paul.
Lou Sell and Bill Tempero, of course, are driving the two chief cars in this race that were once Indy-type chassis. The other drivers in Frisbees or smaller 2-liter cars. It's interesting to see the Indy cars now coming into their own in the Can-Am series.
Dr. Lou Sell coming by and handling the corner nicely. That's one of these sleek-looking machines entered in Can-Am this year, Paul. There's no question. He's done a lot of development on the aerodynamics on this car, and he just wants to get it moving at some speed here.
But he's had some teething problems at Mosport and again here during practice at Summit Point. We're not watching now Kroll around Paddock Bend, out onto the start-finish straight. 100-mile-an-hour average lap here, and he is steadily pulling away from Bill Tempero. Now there goes John Gunn. He's right up behind Tempero, going into the hairpin at the end of the straight. Can he do it?
Look at this. John sizes him up. He makes his move, and he's going to do it beautifully, in fact, diving back into corner 1. So our new second-place man is John Gunn. Tempero now sitting back in 3rd, Paul.
You know, Jim, Gunn did that so easily, it almost looked effortless, but at those speeds, 150 mile an hour down that straight, I'm sure it wasn't easy.
Okay, we're looking at the order after 4 laps. Horst Kroll out front, John Gunn behind him, Tempero, Lanaro, Sell, and Zimmer. So Sell has gotten by Zimmer, Paul.
There's Dr. Lou right now, and he's got Mauro Lanaro in front of him as they head through the turn. Randy Zimmer seems to be dropping back. A little puff of smoke out of the Mazda. Back with the leader, number 37, Horst Kroll. John Gunn in 2nd place. Bill Tempero running 3rd.
Okay, Tempero coming by, and I don't know, he's dropping off the pace a little bit. Dr. Lou Sell is certainly going to start leaning into him. In fact, he's got Lanaro in his sights right now, Paul, and that move should be made, I would think, momentarily.
Lou Sell in 5th place now, working his way up from the back of the grid. He's trying for 4th spot as the leader down the back straight under the bridge. Horst Kroll, number 37. Number 39, John Gunn, 2nd.
You know, we haven't seen John Gunn looking this determined in quite a few Can-Am events either, but he's certainly got Horst in view and is most determined at this point in this race to try to catch up to him as best he can. I must say, Horst looks much more smooth through this corner now than earlier, so they're all getting a little more used to the track, Paul.
And the 2 men who have driven in more Can-Am races than anybody else in this series are leading the event. Horst Kroll, driven in more Can-Ams than anyone in history, and John Gunn a close 2nd place.
Tempero, Lanaro, look at this, Dr. Lou Sell ahead of Lanaro.
But going slowly, he's having problems in that corner.
Doesn't look good, no. In fact, he kicks up a little bit of dirt, and the rest of the field are now streaming by him, Paul.
The 2-liter cars just blew by Sell, which is surprising. He's got a 5-liter motor in that car. He should be going much faster.
Isn't that something? Now, obviously, something nasty has happened on the interior. It would have to be an engine problem. Can't think of another reason he'd be going that slow at this point. And how sad that it's this early, Paul, because he's got a nice machine there. No, he's coming into the pits.
Lou Sell in the pit lane. No sign of smoke from the car. He's probably got a serious mechanical problem here. Here he comes, pulling to a stop. A little puff of smoke from the back.
Okay, he'll pull over. You're right. Now we can see a little more evidence that there's a definite problem as our race leader comes by. Horst Kroll, number 37, still very strong. In fact, already coming up to lap some of the back markers, Paul. So he's setting a blistering pace out here early in our Can-Am event.
He's already put David Locke and Cliff Dawson a lap back.
Okay, looking at our leaderboard after 8 laps, Horst Kroll still in front, Gunn behind him, and let's dash over to the pits and join Paul Chater with Dr. Lou Sell.
Lou, you looked awfully strong at the start. What happened?
The engine, we have oil pressure and heating problems. We've had heating problems all weekend, and it finally manifested itself into oil pressure problems. So we just got one fixed, and then it had already probably started to hurt the other part. So.
What's the diagnosis for heat number 2?
Well, I don't know. That's more up to these guys. It doesn't look real good.
Dr. Lou Sell out of heat number 1, maybe not back for heat number 2. We'll find out after this break from Summit Point, West Virginia. And Randy Zimmer from Buffalo rounds out the top 5.
And I must say the front 5 look good. We watched Dennis Erie waving by John Gunn. John putting a lap down on Dennis, actually. Gunn still running 2nd in this race, Paul.
And Horst Kroll continues to lead. He's a long way out ahead now. There's Mauro Lanaro. In car number 7, he's running in 4th spot. Randy Zimmer, car number 14, off the road, flashing by through the weeds. A little bit too much enthusiasm from Randy there as he was fighting for 4th place.
Not sure that shortcut will be allowed in this race, but of course he is our leading 2-liter car and looking very strong at this point, in fact, as Kroll comes by with a pretty clear track ahead of him.
Randy Zimmer's back on the track. I don't think he even slowed down when he went off in the dirt.
Certainly caused a little dust storm off in the backfield there. Look at Horst Kroll move. So far, he's set our fastest lap, Paul, a 1:12.65. That would be 99.11 miles an hour, almost that 100-mile-an-hour qualifying speed we had earlier.
And there's Mauro Lanaro, number 7. He's into trouble now. He was the top running 2-liter car. He was in strong 4th place. Randy Zimmer will take over that spot now after his off-course excursion. John Gunn, number 39, in 2nd place. He seems to be running into some problems. The car's going very slowly.
You know, I get the feeling he missed the pit entrance there, Paul, and he's a little saddened by that right now because he does not look healthy. Now heading by on the wrong side of his pit crew.
That'll move Bill Tempero up into 2nd spot. Horst Kroll in the lead, Tempero 2nd, Macaluso in 3rd, Bob Dupre running 4th, and Randy Zimmer, the top 2-liter car, in 5th place.
Okay, let's join Paul Chater with John Gunn.
John Gunn, you were running strong in 2nd place. What happened?
Something will stop running in the motor. A fuel pump broke or drive broke or something. It just had a little pop and then stopped. And I couldn't make it go.
Is it something you can repair for heat number 2?
I hope so, yeah. But I don't have a chance to win, so I was just lying in 2nd because then if I won the 2nd heat, I'd get overall. And Horst, if he finished 1st and then 2nd, I'd still beat him, you see. So I was just taking it easy.
Boy, John Gunn had this whole weekend figured out well ahead of time, of course, Paul. Bill Tempero still running 2nd, about 20 seconds from being lapped by our race leader right here, Horst Kroll,
who's now trying to pick his way through some of the slower traffic. Bill Tempero in 2nd place now. He's got a lot of ground to catch up if he wants to challenge for the lead. Tempero, former IndyCar driver. He spent 3 years on the kart circuit, Jim, and he is well used to this Indy converted car he's driving now.
Coming toward us, Dennis Airy. He's one of the back markers. Horst Kroll, our race leader, is screaming up on him at this point, Paul, and you can see the definite advantage they have, especially on that straight.
Oh, I don't know. Horst has got a problem. There's one of the, it's Cliff Dawson in a 2-liter car. Horst in the pit lane now as he gets past.
Isn't this something? Well, this is the sort of incident we saw in our first Can-Am event of the season, Paul, and Horst Kroll is at it one more time along pit lane.
Okay, the crew have waved him to a stop. Let's see what they start to work on now.
Not moving on much yet. There's Randy Zimmer leading. Of course, Tempero, 15, has become our race leader with a big lead over Macaluso, but I would think that Tempero is having a few little problems himself here, Paul. Does not look to be running that smoothly.
And the car seemed very twitchy under braking going into that hairpin at the end of the straight. You can see it there as he came out of the corner, starting to move around a little bit. Now, this problem must be serious, Jim. Horst Kroll is out of the car himself. They've got the valve cover off. His mechanic is working furiously trying to replace a bolt.
Randy Zimmer coming through in our view. There's our new race leader, Bill Tempero. He's become the leader, in fact, with a big lead over Macaluso, but not running as smoothly as we thought as they come through that carousel area one more time, Paul. In fact, he is heading to put a lap down on Horst Kroll.
We'll have to see if Kroll can get out of the pits fast enough to stay on the lead lap with Tempero in car number 15. There's Horst now. He's decided to get back into the car, steering wheel in hand. Has to snap it on for easy access in and out of the car.
Watching Macaluso and Bob Dupre, number 10. They now find themselves fighting for 2nd place. 4th place, Randy Zimmer, 14. About to be lapped, in fact, here, Paul.
That corner looks slippery down there, Jim. You notice most of the cars. We'll watch now as Tempero in car number 15 comes in here. A lot of the cars twitching back and forth midway through that turn.
In fact, about time for us to rejoin Paul Chater down along pit row, and let's see what Horst Kroll is up to, Paul.
Okay, Horst is back in the car now. He's got the steering wheel on. He's having to put on his own seat belts. He's waiting now. He's waving to the mechanics. They have to put the bolts in the rear bodywork. That's what they're grabbing now, fastening down the rear bodywork in the car so it doesn't fly off at high speed. Kroll still wrestling with his seat belts. The other mechanic now at the back putting on the tailpipe extension. And as soon as they get that fastened down, he should be able to get back in this race and hopefully gain some of that ground he's lost to Bill Tempero. You have to admire the dedication and the tenacity of Horst Kroll. Here he's sat almost 5 laps in the pits while they've repaired this car, and he's still going to get back at it. There he goes. Horst Kroll back in the race, but he's lost a lot of time in the pits. Jim?
Oh, look at this, a great cloud of dust, and looks like number 14. Randy Zimmer one more time, Paul. Off again, down in turn 1. That's becoming a favorite spot for him here.
Randy does not like this corner. That's his second time off there in the dirt today, but on both occasions he kept the motor running and he's back in the race.
There's Horst Kroll. He's definitely back, but as Paul pointed out, 5 laps down, he would be running in about 11th position on his return here, Paul.
There's John Macaluso, Bob Dupre, and Bill Tempero behind them, our leader in car number 15.
Nice shot. We got all the current race leaders right there in one group as they head back down through corner number 1. And by the way, they all take it neatly and cleanly. They're through safely, Paul.
Jim, either this corner is slippery or the intense heat today has caused some problems for these tires. They just weren't designed for 150-degree heat, which is the temperature of the track at the moment.
I really think you're right, and yet here's Horst Kroll running very, very well at this point. So, and I didn't see any change of rubber or even thoughts of it, of course, on that last pit stop, Paul. So perhaps they're holding it a little better than we thought they would in this weather.
I'd like to see their tires at the end of the race, though, Jim. There's Macaluso, Bob Dupre behind him. They're, of course, about to be lapped by the leader, Bill Tempero, in car number 15. Through the carousel, Tempero right on the tail of Dupre as they head through that long sweeping right-hander towards the back straightaway.
Okay, Macaluso has now got a lot happening in his rearview mirror. Crowd feel there's a lot happening on the track too, Paul. And here's the pass being made now on the straight. Horst Kroll getting by another back marker. Looking very strong at this point. Pit stop helped him, obviously.
Little puff of smoke from the back. There goes Bill Tempero to put John Macaluso a lap down as they go into corner 1.
Okay, he was looking forward to that move. He does it safely enough to get a clean run back into corner 1. There was quite a bit of dust laid down in there, Paul, but looks very clean as they come through this time.
Tempero all by himself on the track. He's driving a March 84C Chevy. There's Randy Zimmer in car number 14. He's managing to keep the car on the road. I'm sure he's having some tire problems. He's just not the kind of driver who runs off the road twice in one race.
Yeah, in fact, he's running in 4th right now, Paul. He's closed right up on Dupre and Macaluso, so he'll have them in view very shortly here.
Our leader, Bill Tempero, car number 15, Texas American Racing Team.
An interesting point on that team, Paul. They are one of the few teams running outside of the Goodyear fold. They're on Hoosier tires, and boy, they're proving themselves here in this weather today.
Well, if the tires can stand up to this heat, they can stand up to any racetrack on the continent. Bill Tempero, number 15, with a commanding lead. A very good drive for him today. Strong and consistent.
Got a full lap on the entire field. Bill Tempero coming around through the S's and around Paddock Bend now for the 35th time to take the checkered flag. About time for Bill Tempero, too, in Can-Am competition. Paul Chater talks to our winner of heat number 1.
We tried to run. Kroll was out in front of us. We thought we could stay with him, and in the 3rd lap we lost the brakes, and then I had to back off and hope for the best. And we just had to nurse the car in, and it paid off.
You fix the brakes for heat number 2?
Yes, we gotta fix them. We gotta do something because it's extremely hard to drive without brakes.
Averaging 100 miles an hour without brakes. I mean, that would be rather difficult. Here are the final results of our first Can-Am heat. Horst Kroll finishing 9th officially, so he'll start heat 2 from that 9th position. The Formula Atlantic cars take to the track next. We'll have highlights when we return to Summit Point.
Then they get a green light and the race is on.
They're away. This is the second and deciding heat for Formula Atlantic. The first heat won by the young British driver Calvin Fish. Steve Shelton of Florida, 2nd. Canadian Scott Goodyear, 3rd. And that's the order they get right through turn 1, in fact, Paul.
Calvin Fish out in front, Steve Shelton in 2nd spot, Scott Goodyear in 3rd, and a great pack of cars filling his mirrors as they go through turn 1.
Okay, a whole different form of excitement. Of course, here we're looking at all very similar machines running in Formula Atlantic, Paul.
And Scott Goodyear up into 2nd place now around Steve Shelton. That's Tommy Gruna in 4th spot. Little puff of smoke. No, it's dirt. The cars are clipping the corner very tight. There's Calvin Fish in the lead. Scott Goodyear 2nd place. Steve Shelton in 3rd.
Fish leads the whole fight down through the carousel. Scott Goodyear, young Canadian, now living in Texas, hanging right onto his tailpipe, Paul.
And the hot competitor in the Formula Atlantic Series, along with Calvin Fish, the two of them are always fighting nose to tail. Scott has won 2 races so far this season. Calvin Fish leading the Atlantic race now.
Well, I must say this about Fish. He certainly proved his ability in the first heat, and now can Scotty Goodyear? I guess maybe if you could just get by him. That's challenge number 1, Paul.
Victories in this series are decided purely on driving talent. The cars, front runners, all driving Ralts. They all have Ford Cosworth engines there. Now, look at Calvin Fish moving to the inside to stop a pass from Scott Goodyear going into the turn. Scott has a look, but decides not to, settles back into second place.
This Fish, the young man from England, certainly knows how to block a track when he's running out front, Paul, and he's not giving Goodyear any chance at all to get by. Now, look at this. Scotty gets up beside him.
He's going to try along the outside. Calvin doesn't give him any room. He has what they call in the racing world a very wide car.
Once more shuts the door. Look at that. They are racing so tightly against each other. They kick up more dirt there, but doesn't cause either of our race leaders any problem.
Well, it's a great track, Jim. If you have to make a mistake and run off the road, at least it's not lined in guardrails or cement walls like so many racetracks where you could damage the car or injure yourself.
We think about this form of racing, Formula Atlantic, as a wonderful training ground for young people, and I guess there's no question about that, Paul, because, boy, are they learning out here today.
And Scott Goodyear is teaching a lesson now to Calvin Fish, who is trying to hang on to the lead down the back straightaway. Scott tucked right up behind him through Paddock Bend. They've now got this 3,000-foot straightaway in front of them, and look for Scott this time. He's pulling up closer.
Oh, look at this. They've really got the attention of the folks along that front straight. There's no question. Fish gets very wide again. He's literally weaving all over the track here just to keep Goodyear off. He does it again.
There goes Scott down the inside under braking, and he's done it this time. Just barely. Calvin Fish isn't giving him an inch all the way through this corner. They almost touched wheels.
He made it. He made it. He being Goodyear on that pass. And now let's see what Fish does now that he's looking at Goodyear's tailpipe.
And Steve Shelton back in third spot probably has the best view of this race of anyone. There's Goodyear kicking up some more dirt. They love the inside of that turn.
Okay, the order after 4 laps in our Atlantic run. Goodyear out front, Calvin Fish, Steve Shelton. We got Tommy Gruna and Paul Dallenbach just a little further back. Dallenbach, of course, from the famous racing family, Paul.
His father, a great IndyCar driver, and his brother, a Trans Am champion. So he's the youngest one in the family. He's on his way up now, too.
It seems that anyone who's competed in Formula Atlantic has been on his way up. It's been a marvelous training ground for young people in the sport, and a lot of great names have come out of it, Paul.
Former world champion K.K. Rosberg, great Canadian driver Gilles Villeneuve, his brother Jacques, who's now driving Indy cars, Danny Sullivan and Bobby Rahal, both winners of the Indy 500. They've all come out of Formula Atlantic racing.
This is it, Paul, a marvelous training ground for these young competitors. Noting the race line as our leaders come toward us, Scott Goodyear doesn't seem to make his car as wide as Fish did earlier.
He's being very neat, very tidy, and it's starting to show because he's pulling away from Calvin Fish. Steve Shelton is back in second spot. We've got a driver out of the race already.
Can't pick out his number, Paul, but one of the competitors out of it.
There's Scott Goodyear, car number 14, the easy wider Ralt in first place.
Let's learn more about Scott Goodyear now from Paul Chater.
Well, Scott, it appears to us as though you have the largest team here. Does that give you a special advantage?
Oh, I think when you have the sponsors involved and what have you, you seem to have a road crew that travels with you that's in mass numbers, and obviously we have a large bus full of people that arrive every day and supporters, and it helps overall in the team. We got an excited group here, and it works out well.
How many cars in the series, or how many drivers do you see with an opportunity to win here?
This weekend, just by looking at the first qualifying session, I would say there's probably a good 5 or 6 people that are capable of winning. I think when it comes down to halfway through the event, it will probably get narrowed down to 3.
Well, we now watch Scotty Goodyear putting a lap on Ken Smith. He'll do it in corner 1. Right up on his tail. Nice smooth move inside.
He got blocked a little bit going in there, though, Jim, and it's allowed Calvin Fish to pick up some ground. But certainly at this point, the race belongs to Scott Goodyear.
Okay, well, watch for Fish now to make his pass. He'll have to get by the back marker, of course, to take up the battle again with Scott Goodyear, who's out in front. And Fish will make his move here.
And it was easy for him, Jim. The real fight we have going now for third place. There's Steve Shelton in third. Michael Greenfield right on his tail in fourth spot, looking for a hole. And he just can't seem to get by.
You know, Michael Greenfield is a typical Atlantic driver, just 21 years old. He has his eyes set on the highest forms of the sport. He really wants to use Formula Atlantic as a stepping stone to make a name for himself in the class which has yielded so many famous racing drivers. Let's meet Michael with Paul.
Do you want to head to Indy racing, or is Formula One a goal?
I'd like to do some IndyCar racing, you know. over Formula One. Formula One is tough to get into. You got to go over to Europe and do some European racing. It's very rare that a Formula One driver will come out of Atlantic. Most of them usually go on to Indy cars. You know, it's an American series, a lot of American drivers, and it's the best bet you can do.
What's your schedule? How many years do you see in Formula Atlantic before you make an attempt?
This is my second year in Atlantic. We didn't do a full year last year. It's hard to say. We're going to do it one race at a time and see what we can come up with at the end of the year. Maybe find a drive, get a test drive with somebody.
Into corner one, last lap, Scott Goodyear, number 14 in first place, Calvin Fish in second, right behind him.
Let's keep in mind now, with Calvin Fish being first in the first heat, he really only has to finish second to win overall based on that victory earlier today, Paul. Scotty Goodyear has got a problem here.
Now, let's watch for the battle for third place on the last lap for Michael Greenfield in fourth. This is his only chance now to gain third place. There, the leaders by. There's a slower car. Now let's watch for third and fourth. There's Shelton, there's Greenfield right beside him. They've got a slower car in front. They're side by side, and Greenfield's done it. He's taken advantage of the traffic, and he's moved into third spot. A dicey situation for all three drivers when emotions are high on the last lap. Sometimes they throw caution to the wind. Anything can happen, but in this case, it paid out for Michael Greenfield. He's in third spot.
And very strong in that position right now as we watch the race leaders come down into view, and Scott Goodyear comes by to take that checkered flag. He leads the Easy Wider Championship now with 2 wins and a second pole.
A victory for Scott Goodyear. Calvin Fish in second place. Overall, Fish wins after the 2 heats. Goodyear in second, Steve Shelton, Tommy Grunna, and Paul Dellenbach.
And now let's join Paul Chater in Victory Circle.
Calvin Fish, the overall winner of the Formula Atlantic race here at Summit Point, West Virginia. We'll be back with heat number 2 of the Can-Am right after this. Number 1. Therefore, Horst Kroll will be starting 9th on the grid, a long way back. He's going to have a lot of ground to make up. Randy Zimmer is on the front row in a 2-liter car. It should make for a very interesting start.
Now here's a familiar sight at Summit Point. In fact, for the last 10 years, Goodyear have dominated the winner's circle in motorsports racing throughout the world. But in this year's Can-Am Series, they're looking at some head-on competition from Hoosier tires.
How much design and technology went into building the tires to get them ready for Can-Am?
Okay, well, the Indy type cars are very similar in characteristic to GTP type cars that run in IMSA. We did a lot of development in the IMSA area with GTP cars and ground effects, and we were able to use that technology to basically step into Can-Am with a little bit of a head start, and we've gone from there.
So these Can-Am tires designed solely for the Can-Am series?
Yes, that's correct.
Now you're in a head-to-head battle with Goodyear. Who's winning so far?
Well, we're early in the second race of the season. Goodyear won the first race. We had a lot of attrition up there. We're still working with teams that aren't familiar with our product, and of course they're a little bit cautious to try something new against something they've used for years. So we have to kind of step in carefully with them and work with them and show them that we do have a good product. So far, most of those people have been convinced that we have a better product.
Green flag out for the second heat in the Summit Point Can-Am, and Randy Zimmer, number 14, a 2-liter car in front, Paul.
Oh, we've got a blown engine at the back. That's Gene Forsthofel back there. Engine just lit up. He's off onto the dirt. You know, Jim, he didn't make it into the first heat because he had car problems, and now he's got in the second heat. He didn't even get into the first turn before the engine went.
He has not had a great day today at Summit Point, but look at Randy Zimmer go. This is something, and of course the winner of our first heat is right on his tail, Paul.
And this is a surprise, a 2-liter car, the Rondell Mazda of Randy Zimmer in the lead. He's got Bill Tempero behind him, and Horst Kroll, who is charging his way through the pack. He's already now from 9th up to 3rd place.
By the way, number 10, Bob Dupre, looks pretty strong in this restart as well in car number 10. He's trying to hold on to Horst as best he can here.
Well, Horst has a monumental task ahead of him after finishing so poorly in the first heat. He has to blow everybody off the road and then hope their cars break if he wants to win this event.
Actually, it's the only way he'll get an overall, but Horst being the competitor that he is, Paul, you know he's going to go out for a win here. Now, I guess our question is, we're going to see one more pit stop out of the man. Let's hope not today.
Look at this 2-liter car of Randy Zimmer's. It's unbelievably fast. The little cars are nimble in the corners, but you wouldn't expect him to hold this kind of lead down the long front straightaway.
You'd almost think he maybe pumped up the gasoline or something on this restart, because he really does have a rather commanding lead, in fact, now coming around for lap 2.
And he's using up all the road to stop Tempero and Kroll from gaining any ground or getting by him going under braking into that first corner. Kroll attempted to pass there, but he just couldn't do it because Zimmer had moved to the inside.
Well, we talk about wide cars, and looks like Tempero's is getting more wide as this day goes on. Horst having a problem getting by, but now he makes a move, Paul.
Dives on the inside, and he just doesn't have enough room. These wide Can-Am cars are a real task to get by when they're running at that speed. There's Tempero in second place. Kroll having a look now. He's pulling up alongside. This probably did it for Kroll. He's into second place. He's got past Tempero.
Okay, now we're beginning to see some power out of Horst Kroll's car. I was worried for a moment on the start there that he had lost that for the rest of the afternoon, Paul, but apparently he's just been hiding it away here for a moment or two.
Well, he's a tough competitor. He knows he's got little or no chance of winning the race overall, but he's still going for the lead in heat number 2. And he's starting to reel in Randy Zimmer in car number 14, our leader, as he flashes by. There goes Kroll, number 37, in second place in this heat.
And again, we're looking at Horst now coming up much more swiftly as they come around to head down this front straight. Zimmer much more within view. And by the way, the winner of our first heat dropping a little further back.
There goes Randy again, down onto the inside of the track to prevent a pass, but actually all he did was make room for Horst, and he's slipped in behind him. That was either a mistake or a very sportsmanlike gesture on the part of Randy Zimmer.
I would not think that Randy Zimmer would deliberately block. He certainly knows that he's down on power as opposed to Horst Kroll's car, so he's just let him by, Paul. Love the side of Randy's car. If you note this when he comes through, you get the feeling he's looking for a sponsor.
It says sponsor wanted in big letters on the side. Randy Zimmer from Buffalo, New York, and the 2-liter Rondell Mazda in second place, our leader in this heat. Horst Kroll, car number 37 from Toronto, Canada, is out in front.
Okay, Horst out in front in heat 2. Can he hold on to it?
Bill Tempero now in third spot, really just has to stay out there and drive around to finish well overall.
Like watching number 70, he's looking a little better in heat number 2 than he did in heat number 1. We're speaking of Bruce Langson, by the way, in number 70, Paul.
And he's up into fourth place. We had hoped to see him that high in the first heat. He had some mechanical problems, but he's now right in the middle of the battle. Horst Kroll into turn 1 in the lead, number 37. Randy Zimmer is in second place, of course, leading all the 2-liter cars. And Bill Tempero, who won the first heat, is in third.
Each and every one of these cars now taking a much better line around the Summit Point track than they did in heat number 1, Paul. They've all become a little more familiar with this facility. Certainly Horst Kroll has, and now literally beginning to run away. It won't be long till he may get his lap down on the rest of the field, which is really what he would like.
And they're all running on fresh tires. As we watch them at the end of the first heat, those tires started to go away with 150-degree track temperature. Now, there's Mauro Lanaro. He's in the pit lane.
Another hopeful from Canada here who's had problems early in heat number 2, Paul.
And Horst Kroll motoring on. He's got a good, strong lead, and he seems to be pulling away. Woo, we've got a fire in the pit lane.
Oh, isn't that something?
That's Mauro Lanaro.
Could be the extinguisher in the car has just gone off, Paul, or there may have been something...
Okay, the marshals have their dry chem extinguishers out, and they've put that fire out. So Lanaro's out of the car, no problem.
Okay, everything under control in the pits, and certainly everything under control for Horst Kroll back on the track. Here's Randy Zimmer coming up on a back marker.
That's Cliff Dawson in car number 11. And
I'll tell you, Tempero is right on his tail at this point. And look at who's right on Tempero's tail.
Bruce Langson in car number 70. The radical aerodynamic design on that car. That corner is still slippery. You can see him twitching back and forth, but he's now set his sights on, there's Cliff Dawson. He's waved Randy Zimmer through.
Okay, Tempero should get by safely, but here's the battle now, and it's happening back in third spot.
That was easy for Bruce Langson. He just moved out and drove around Bill Tempero. So either Tempero has some mechanical problems or he's just doing what we suggested. He's staying out there, driving around and hoping to finish.
Or Bruce Langson is really learning, perhaps, as this day goes on. This car is now beginning to perform, Paul. He'll have to bring in Zimmer next, and that shouldn't take too long.
Horst Kroll down the front straightaway one more time in car number 37. Flashback, let's see, there's Randy Zimmer, number 14 in second place, and Bruce Langson in car 70 is catching him.
Zimmer comes by neatly. No problem for him as he attempts to hang on to Horst Kroll. Not much chance, though. Horst looking very strong in this heat. He needs the win. In fact, Tempero would have to fall out of this race for Horst to win overall, Paul. Will it happen?
There's Bruce Langson on the outside of Randy Zimmer going into turn 1. He hasn't got enough room to get by. Randy again pulling to the inside going into that corner. but it's just a matter of time. That 2-liter Mazda motor is just no match for the 5-liter Chevy in Langson's car. There he goes, right around him.
No problem. Once he got up beside him, he was away. If you talk about wide-looking cars, 70 certainly has that characteristic anyway, Paul.
Bruce Langson, number 70, into second place. This is certainly one of the best runs he's ever had in a Can-Am race, and he's been at it for a few years now. Into the carousel, Bruce Langson, number 70. Randy Zimmer behind him, a spark of flame from the back of Zimmer's car there. That's normal for the Mazda.
Langson weaving around a little bit there. We thought maybe he was having a control problem or tire problem. Not so.
There comes Cliff Dawson, number 11. He's in the pit lane as well.
Well, he was waving frantically just a while ago. Looked like a touch of smoke out of the back there just as he came to a stop, Paul. But he knew he had problems about a lap or so ago.
Now, look at this. Tempero having a run at Randy Zimmer.
He makes it.
Outbreaks him going into turn 1.
Nice move.
Now, that's surprising. We had thought all along Tempero was just planning to finish this race, but now he's actually in there dicing, and he's fighting with Randy Zimmer. Zimmer's not letting him get away.
You know, I think Bill Tempero was just teasing us here in the earlier laps, because now he's beginning to lean into it. Once he's by Zimmer, he now is beginning to pull away a little bit.
Bit by bit, as Horst Kroll in car number 37 continues to lead heat number 2.
No problem. We have to watch this car carefully. I don't know how Horst's mind is clicking at this point, but I know that we as the commentators, Paul, have to be a little concerned about him. It seems every time we see him with a commanding lead like this, a problem develops.
We should also mention, Jim, that Dr. Lucelle did not start the second heat. We saw him in the first heat. We were concerned about the shape of his car, whether he'd get it ready or not. Obviously, he hasn't. He's not appeared in heat number 2.
And that's a shame. He's a man who certainly... Oh, look at this. Now, another problem.
Smoke out of Bruce Langson's car. That could be serious. Oh, he's slowing down.
That's a shame. Putting in one of his finest runs in Can-Am competition. Finally got this car clicking in the second heat, Paul, and he has blown something away.
That's Randy Zimmer up there at the top of the hill, Jim. Randy Zimmer on the inside of the track, car number 14. He's got a serious problem. That's Sean Burgess in the white car, who's just passed him now. Zimmer crawling on the inside of the track, probably looking for a place to park it.
Look at that. The drama develops even more in Heat 2 in this Can-Am at Summit Point, and our front runners are beginning to drop by the wayside, Paul. He grabs the side road, and you're right, he's out of it for the day.
A shame for Randy Zimmer. He's had a very good run today in a 2-liter car against these bigger 5-liter Chevys.
You can bet Horst Kroll doesn't care. He is steaming on. Here comes our second place man now, Bill Tempero.
He's moved around Bruce Langson. Tempero back into second place now as Langson seems to be having some problems with car number 70.
He really is dropping off. I believe one of the back markers got by Langson, in fact.
There's John Macaluso in car number 84, about to be put a lap down by second place Bill Tempero, and there's the leader, Horst Kroll, about to put them all a lap down.
What a weird sandwich that is, and Horst is doing everything he can to wend his way through this field of back markers and get a lap down on everybody. He's about to do it, Paul.
Still, Jim, it doesn't matter whether he's got them 1 lap down or 20 laps down. If Bill Tempero is still running at the finish, he's going to win. Horst Kroll, number 37, the mid-afternoon sun here at Summit Point, West Virginia, taking its toll. And another one, it looks, who's going to succumb to this heat is Bob Dupre. There he is in car number 10 on the inside, going very slowly as Horst Kroll flashes down the front straight into turn number 1.
You know, Bob looked very wobbly in front, too. He won't be a problem, I don't think, for Horst here in corner 1. No, he's not. But he does look like a man who is not going to last that long. Horst takes his time here. He doesn't want to overplay the pass, and he gets by safely.
You know, Jim, in heat number 1, it was so hot, and Bob Dupre apparently doesn't like driving in the heat. He practically had to be lifted from his car after that first heat, so this could just be driver fatigue at this point.
Well, the man from Canada, Horst Kroll, is certainly used to the heat of Can-Am competition. He's been in it as many years as I can recall, Paul, and has never run as well as perhaps he did last year and this year.
Car number 37, Horst Kroll from Toronto in the lead. Oh, he's got some smoke out the back, Jim.
That's not a good sign. Now, was that dust? No, it would appear to be genuine smoke, Paul. He's got a problem. That's it.
Okay, smoke pouring from the back of that car right now. Horst is coming up to the entry to the pits. I hope he knows that he's got a problem. There he goes. He's in the pit lane. Horst Kroll in the pits for one more time today.
First indicator here, Paul, would be that he's blown the engine away. Let's hope the problem is not that severe. And he pulls to stop. The crew are right on top of the car. And now the work begins, Paul.
There's third place man, number 84, John Macaluso. And there's Bill Tempero in second place in car number 15. He has to get all the way around this lap and past Horst before Kroll can get out of the pits. If he does that, he'll have the lead. They're taping over the valve cover. Now, that's the same spot where they had problems in heat number 1.
Here's Macaluso. He's still running third. Now, the real story is Tempero. He's gained his lap. He's now our new race leader. He wants to put a lap down on Horst Kroll if he possibly can here, Paul.
Horst Kroll's back in the race again after repairing a hole in the valve cover. He's got a lot of ground to make up one more time. We'll be back with more of the Summit Point Can-Am right after this.
We're back with the Canadian-American Challenge at Summit Point, West Virginia. Our third-place car comes into view. John Macaluso, number 84. Fourth, right on his tail, is car number 2, and that is Tony LaRosa, who's now becoming a factor in this race, Paul.
And LaRosa is driving a smaller 2-liter Osella, and he's done it. He's got past the 5-liter Chevy of John Macaluso. LaRosa is into third spot.
Isn't that something? So LaRosa, the smaller car, blowing Macaluso away. He now takes over third in this race. And there's our race leader right behind them.
Macaluso's not about to let him get away with it either. He was trying to pass going into corner 1, but he just couldn't find the room. There's the leader, number 15, Bill Tempero.
Bill Tempero just coming up, in fact, on that third and fourth place battle in this race. Now, where's Horst Kroll? He's fighting his way back, trying to catch Tempero. Needs a win in this heat, Paul.
There's Horst Kroll, number 37.
He's fast.
Running in second place. It doesn't really matter at this point. Oh, he's collecting a little bit of dirt on the outside. I wonder if the heat is starting to get to the drivers.
Well, of course, the heat is building up in Horst Kroll's cockpit. He is really leaning into it now, and LaRosa is holding Macaluso off.
There's Bill Tempero going around Bruce Langson, number 70, who's still out and making a race out of this, even though his car isn't handling too well.
You know, we thought we were going to lose him earlier, and he's going very slowly at this point, Paul, but he's holding in heat number 2 anyway.
You've got to give anybody points for staying out in 110-degree heat this afternoon.
Horst Kroll coming down to corner 1. There's our race leader.
Bill Tempero, car number 15. It's a March 84C with a Chevy motor in it, and he is in command of this race at this point.
How about the difference in aerodynamics here? Is that going to be a factor, I wonder, in this fight between first and second that we're watching right now, Paul?
Well, the converted Indy cars, such as the one that Tempero is driving, is a ground effects car. The bottom is shaped like an upside-down wing. It actually sucks the car down onto the road, whereas Horst Kroll's traditional Can-Am car is a flat bottom. That means Kroll actually can run faster in a straight line because there's not quite as much aerodynamic drag, but Tempero's car sticks much better in the corners.
So Horst is going to have his problems perhaps through the carousel, the S's section of this track, whereas our race leader will not, is the point we're trying to make.
And Horst can gain some ground on the long straightaways, particularly this straight going into corner 1. There's the leader, Bill Tempero, through, and Kroll is gaining some ground.
Oh, he does. He comes screaming down here. He can take this corner rather handily without slowing down that much, Paul. But he's still got some ground to gain on Bill Tempero, number 15, our race leader.
And still a little puff of smoke out the back of Kroll's car. We have to wonder if he's really going to finish this event at all.
Will his magic tape hold up in this event, and will it be for public sale, I wonder, at the end of the race, Paul?
It's going to be a dash right to the finish. Kroll is definitely gaining on Bill Tempero. We see Tempero just going by. There's Kroll now in car number 37, and his car sounds healthy.
Well, we're on the last lap, and Bill Tempero is looking for that checkered flag, but Horst Kroll would love to have it on this day, Paul.
There just may not be enough track left, Jim. There goes Tempero, car number 15. Kroll, number 37, in second place, and they're on the last lap down the back straightaway. Can he do it?
Well, in fact, Paul, I think Horst Kroll has run out of time. Here comes Heat 2's leader, Bill Tempero.
Down the front straightaway, the checkered flag's waiting, and Tempero has done it. He's won the Summit Point Can-Am.
Well, let's combine the results of these 2 heats. Bill Tempero, the overall winner. Tony LaRosa of Italy getting second overall. Harholdt third. Horst Kroll fourth. Dennis Erie taking 5th in this Can-Am at Summit Point. And we'll be back in the victory circle after this.